Tormund is one of those characters who's equally as great of a character in the show as he is in the books. They do have their major differences, which I'm going to go through in this video. I wanted to make this because I know the show doesn't have time to go in depth with this hilariously badass backstory. Obviously, looking at these two portrayals of Tormund, you can see Game of Thrones went with a different route for his physical appearance. In the show, he's average height, middle-aged, with orange hair.
I don't give two shits about wildlings. Gingers I hate.
Gingers are beautiful. We are kissed by fire. Just like you.
Don't point your fucking finger at me.
In the books, while his age isn't mentioned, he does seem much older because of his white hair. He's described as not very tall, with a large stomach and large arms. He wears gold bands with ruins of the first men engraved on them. Their personalities, on the other hand, are very similar. In both stories, they are loudmouths who love to crack jokes. They're also highly respected fighters among the free folk, with strength to back it. He's confident and fearless. Tormund may rarely be serious, but unlike most of the free folk, he was smart enough to put his pride aside and be the first to work with Jon and the Night's Watch.
You spent too much time with the free folk. Now you don't like kneeling. Mance Rayder was a brave man. Proud man. The king beyond the wall never bent the knee. How many of his people died for his pride?
Whether it be his former king Mance Rayder or Jon Snow, he's extremely loyal to who he follows.
Where no other Southerners would. He died for us. If we are not willing to do the same for him, we're cowards. And if that's what we are, we deserve to be the last of the free folk.
Where the story deviates again is the backstories. Not a lot is known about Tormund's life beyond the wall, and what we do know, we gather from his nicknames. His ridiculous list of nicknames has to be the best thing about him. In the third book, A Storm of Swords, during Jon's first encounter with Tormund within Madness's tent, we get this great exchange. If you would join us, you'd best know us. The man you took for me is Styr, Magnar of Then. Magnar means lord in the old tongue. The earless man stared at Jon coldly as Mance turned to the white bearded one. Our ferocious chicken eater here is my loyal Tormund. The woman? Tormund rose to his feet. Hold, you gave Styr his style, give me mine. Mance Rayder laughed, as you wish. Jon Snow, before you stands Tormund Giantsbane, tall talker, hornblower and breaker of ice. And here also, Tormund Thunderfist, husband to bears, the mead king of Ruddy Hall, speaker to gods, and the father of hosts. That sounds more like me, said Tormund. Well met, Jon Snow. I am fond of wargs, as it happens, though not of Starks. I think each of these nicknames deserve a little explanation, so I'll do the best I can with the information we have. A tall talker is someone who exaggerates true events to create a more interesting story, which is a perfect nickname for Tormund. The name Hornblower and Breaker of Ice comes from his reputation of having powerful lungs, powerful enough to break off snow and ice off mountains apparently. Tormund Thunderfist is used frequently in the books, and while I'm not too entirely sure about the origins of this nickname, I'm sure it has to do with his large arms and strength, along with his loud nature and the golden bands he wears. The story of how he got the nickname Husband to Bears is possibly the funniest moment in the series, but also one many fan theorists pay close attention to. Snowflakes as big as your head, not these little things. It snowed so hard the whole village was half buried. I was in me Ruddy Hall with only a cask of mead to keep me company and nothing to do but drink. The more I drank, the more I got thinking about this woman lived close by. A fine, strong woman with the biggest pair of teeth you ever saw. She had a temper on her, that one, but oh, she could be warm too. In the deep of winter, a man need his warmth. The more I drank, the more I thought about her, and the more I thought, the harder me member got, till I couldn't suffer it no more. Fool that I was, I bundled myself up in furs from head to heels, wrapped a winding wool around me face, and set off to find her. The snow was coming down so hard I got turned around once or twice, and the wind blew right through me, and froze me bones, but finally I come on her all bundled up like I was. The woman had a terrible temper, and she put up quite the fight when I laid hands on her. It was all I could do to carry her home and get her out of them furs, but when I did, oh, she was hotter than I remembered, and we had a fine old time, and then I went to sleep. Next morning when I woke up, the snow had stopped and the sun was shining, but I was in no fit state to enjoy it. All ripped and torn I was, and half me member bit right off, and there on me floor was a she-bear's pelt. And soon enough the free folk were telling tales of this bald bear seen in the woods, with the queerest pair of cubs behind her. You guys need to remember here that this is Tormund Tall Talker, so take from this ridiculous story what you will. He finishes his story by saying, "She was fine to lay with, that bear. Never was a woman gave me such a fight, nor such strong sons either." When I read this I only see a funny lie.
Her fangs were sharp, but she
she knew how to use them. And she was nice and soft down below. Oh, she was no ordinary beast. Benny's the man with a...
I know you never fucked a bear. You know you never fucked a bear. Right now, I don't want to think about the bear you never fucked. Right now, all I want to think about is each one of these arrows fanning its way into a crow's heart.
But since the Song of Ice and Fire fanbase loves their theories, many believe the bear he is talking about is Meg Mormont. I don't want to go too deep into this theory since this is something George Martin would never confirm or pay much mind to, but what people believe to be evidence is Meg does fit the characteristics laid out by Tormund, and House Mormont's sigil is a bear. Bear Island isn't too far from the lands of the free folk, but it wouldn't be a simple drunken trip to make it to the northern island. Meg has never told anyone who the father of her children are, and there are rumors of Mormont women capable of skin changing into bears. While this theory is fun, I wouldn't pay much mind to it since both are very minor characters who won't get much of the spotlight in the future books. The Mead King of Ruddy Hall refers to his love for drinking, and I guess Ruddy Hall was his home before the start of the story. An interesting thing to note is Tormund planned to make himself king beyond the wall, but Mance Rayder was able to defeat him. His next name, the Speaker to Gods and Father of Hosts, isn't all that clear to me. It might have to do with his big ego and loud voice allowing him to speak to the gods in a joking sense, but I'm just not sure. So if any of you guys have a better idea, just let me know in the comments. The name I've been saving until the end to talk about is a name he is commonly referred to in the show and books, Tormund Giantsbane. The story behind his name just fits him so well. After Jon encounters a giant for the first time, he asks Tormund, "Is it true you killed a giant once?" Now why would you doubt a mighty man like me? It was winter and I was half a boy and stupid the way boys are. I went too far and my horse died and the storm caught me. A true storm, not a little dusting such as this. I knew I'd freeze to death before it broke, so I found me a sleeping giant, cut open her belly and crawled up right inside her. Kept me warm enough she did, but the stink near did for me. The worst thing was, she woke up when the spring came and took me for her babe. Suckled me for 3 whole moons before I could get away. There's times I miss the taste of giant's milk though. If she nursed you, you couldn't have killed her. I never did. But see you don't go spreading that about. Tormund Giantsbane has a better ring to it than Tormund Giant's babe, and that's the honest truth of it. Like the bear story, take what you will from this tall talker story. In both the show and the books, Tormund becomes the leader of many free folk, but a big change the show added was his children.
We should gather the elders. Find somewhere quiet to talk. You don't give the orders here. I'm not giving an order. When you're done talking, do you get down on your knees and suck his cock? Gather the elders and let's talk.
You vouch for this man, Tormund.
He's prettier than both my daughters, but he knows how to fight. He's young, but he knows how to lead.
It's not easy to catch because this moment is overshadowed by the attack from the White Walkers in the same episode. Season 5, Episode 8 is the episode titled Hardhome, where Jon meets with surviving wildlings or free folk, and Tormund mentions his 2 unnamed and unseen daughters for the first and only time. In the books, he instead has 4 sons and a daughter. His eldest son, Toreg, nicknamed Toreg the Tall since he is a foot taller than his father. His second son, Torwind, known as Tormund the Tame, was never much of a fighter and died from the weather conditions up north. He rose again as a white and had to be put down by his own father. His son Dormund was killed by one of Stannis' men during their battle. Tormund's youngest son, Drin, is an adolescent version of himself. Jon takes him as a page in the books when Tormund offered to give him up as a hostage. Tormund's only daughter, Munda, was stolen by a wildling named Longspear Reich. She's married to him and being treated well, but she broke his lip, bit one ear half off, and apparently scratched his back bad enough that he can't wear a cloak. Tormund's children in the books aren't that important, so it's understandable why they were cut from the show.
You want to suck my dick, is that it?
Dick?
Cock.
Ah, dick. I like it.
Bet you do.
No, it's pussy for me. I have a beauty waiting for me back in Winterfell.
I just thought he was a character deserving a video dedicated to him since many won't ever know about his family or backstory. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about his crazy life as much as I did. Thanks for watching.